Oh, I bet I know what's wrong. This is absolutely hopeless. I don't even know if y'all can hear me. Can you hear me? There's no sound at all, is there? Can you hear me? You can't hear me, can you?
Hello. I can't hear you.
I am absolutely buying a new
I
microphone.
can.
This immediately. Immediately. I'm utterly baffled by this. Does this work now? No, that still doesn't work. All right, no, nothing's working. It's all broken. And this is
We
a
are.
welcome to Sasquatch Shills, everybody. We're professionals. We're not using trash we found in the gutter. I swear to God. I actually bought this trash. I paid good money for it.
Oh well, never mind.
Yeah, welcome to the show, Grim.
Thanks for asking me back. I'm surprised.
Surprised.
Yeah,
Surprised.
I didn't think I left that much of an impression. I must have done.
Hey, man, in my line of the YouTuber, level head's pretty good impression, bro. Like,
All right.
being able to have a conscious conversation that doesn't end in, all right, well, we'll just agree to disagree every single time. That's awesome.
That's
What's up, Mark?
that's a good way of doing things.
Right.
Maybe I should have thought that.
Since the show is already broken,
Well, show is going out.
it's terribly. It's like in flames and stuff, and I don't even know if we should
Yeah.
bother continuing it. But we're gonna do it for 57 minutes, no matter how bad it hurts. We got
Okay.
another mouse in the house. It's good to see you, brother. He gets the he gets the gold. Work line gets the silver, and Yin Yang News gets the bronze. Welcome to the show, y'all. Y'all get to be wieners today. That's awesome. And a fair warning, my mic's probably going to go out 2 or 3 more times through this. So just bear with me or fuck off. I don't know what to tell you. That's all I got, man. We're doing what we can with what we got. How about that?
Well, I know they can hear me because people have said in the chat they can hear me, so I presume they can hear you as well at the moment.
I hope so.
When I can't hear you, I don't think you'll be transmitting, and I'll have to try and
Right. No, see, that's the thing is the problem is on this end of my computer. So if sound doesn't go in, you don't hear it. They don't hear it either. So
yeah,
you know,
that's what I'm saying.
I
If I
go
don't
out.
hear you, I know
I also
it's
get this big flag at the top of my screen that tells me my mic is total trash and I need to get some new shit.
okay.
So yeah, that takes a second.
So, if anybody fancies contacting Sasquatch with any sort of donation, please don't.
Yeah, just don't do that. There's no way to.
It would become so controversial. And I know you don't do that.
I mean, I'm supposed to have a PayPal. I got the thousands of subs. I just never actually expected it to happen. I guess I could move the goalpost back, and that just seems wrong. Thing is, I'm just
Yeah.
not all that computer literate. I don't know how to do all this internet stuff that I seem to be doing quite nicely. I've no comment. I'm just flailing
Well,
over.
it probably all comes together by accident, a bit like things that have happened since we last met, so to speak. You know, we were planning on, or as part of a group of similar, I won't say like-minded, although our ultimate goal is to try and change things. I work with a group called Vigilante.media, who put together a number of things, apart from websites for people, alternative radios on the websites for them. We've got Carl and Allison, who produce their own music. They've got their own website. Mrs. J has got her own website. Fake Mike Real News. Shout out to him.
That's a great name. I like that name. Fake Mike Real News. That's awesome.
Yeah. You want to check out his channel on YouTube? You'll understand why he's called Fake Mike.
All right. Actually, I got one thing I want to pop up. This was supposed to happen right after the intro tune. I don't even know if I'm gonna get sound out of it. So let's test that out right now.
Go for it.
It's only a minute.
The governor in advance, sir, I guarantee you there will be casualties on this operation. And then you get to go back to him afterward with a clean sheet. 13 for 13, bitches. I would have seen this in the theater if I had known it existed. This is the kind of picture we need more of in the theaters. Real life stories that edify the mind and uplift the spirit, because the best stories of all are the ones that come from real life. If you tried to write a fiction script with all the same stuff in it this real life story has, you would get laughed out of the pitch meeting. They would say it's too implausible, but there it is. It's 100% real, and it's a thing that every single person on the globe has cause to celebrate. There were kids in danger. There was a chance to save them, and they got saved. Roll fucking credit. Pretty cool when you have told the governor in advance, right. Sir,
You can't argue with that. That's his response. They made a movie about the 13, I think it was 13 children that were trapped in the mine in, was it Portugal or Brazil or something? And there's this anesthesiologist, and they came to the conclusion that the only way to get these kids out of there was to knock them out, put them in a bag, and bring them out breathing canned air, right?
Right.
That's insane. You would have to put them down for 2.5 hours. You'd have to have an anesthesiologist with you to do that. Yes. And there is a grand total of, count them on one digit, cave diving anesthesiologists in the world. And they called him up, was like, hey man, aren't you the cave diving guy? They're like, he's like, yeah. He's like, aren't you an anesthesiologist? He's like, yeah. He's like, we got this problem. You're talking about the kids and nobody's can get them out of there. Well, you might can. Explain. And he flew in and they did the whole thing. And there's a movie about it. And instead of focusing largely on this dude, who is an absolute super giga Chad hero, because he's not special forces, I think two like their version of SEAL team members died trying to get out of that place. Right. This guy dives in, goes get all 13 of them, brings them out all alive. Close to a miracle as you could get without actually crossing that threshold.
Yeah, you'd have thought they'd have done the right thing, but movies are movies and full of garbage, propaganda, etc.
I don't think so, Queen Bird. I haven't seen a recent one. I had him on last night for a little while. He stepped in when Belt Loop ran late. I can't remember what Belt Loop was doing. He was with his mama or something. I don't remember. But it ran late, and Belt Loop showed up late, and it all went to Puss in a Bucket. So here we are. Right? Now we're here. So you've got this, you're trying to set up this alt profile site, right? It's like, what do you call it? Vigilante Media?
Vigilante.media is the group behind it. The platform is PsyOp TV. And that will basically has everything that terms of services should have in other words, total free speech, and you can do what you want. So if you got a video which you don't really want to edit because it's so good, but to meet certain criteria, you've got to edit it. We've got the platform where you can put it on, and you can also
something over here that might explain it a little bit. I went deep diving through your channel a little bit.
Oh, yes, again, go Bob.
So what all have you got going on there? Karaoke, like movies and stuff? Or are we talking like
no? That is the karaoke.
The wrong one.
Sort of.
Sort of. Motherfucker. All right. Thank you for your consideration. I'm not that quite that sensitive a boy. You can say, "Hey, dude, you fucked up. You got the wrong one. It's perfectly fine. People fuck up sometimes. Fixing it
I
and
just
makes a real person out of us."
I
Oh, I lost five.
I actually couldn't tell you which one is the best one.
I've seen it. I've
To
seen
be
it.
honest,
That's the one.
yeah, yeah.
That's the.
So that's a Sunday afternoon live show, which we've been
You
trying
had
to.
one really good commercial that explained it up pretty well. New streaming service on our website, powered by this thing right here.
Yeah,
That's the one.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. There we go. Much improved. What's up, Truth Be Told? Exiled Boss, good to see you. What's that news? Oh, yes. Have a dog? See, this is what I'm saying you should be doing in short. Right?
Well, these are shorts, but these are promos.
But they're not. They won't go into the shorts algorithm. They don't get the benefit of a totally separate algorithm tinkering with it. You know.
That's all
right. Here's the thing. This over here that happened, this whole problem I'm having here with my OBS, because that's supposed to have music and stuff, and I'm a paleontologist, and I've got none of my sound. I have no idea why. I did a bunch of updates yesterday, and I checked it earlier, and it played fine. Turned on the stream cards, and it didn't play. I don't know. I'm baffled, but we do what we can with what we got, I guess. They're out. Oh, what is that? That's a 4x4 El Camino there, brother.
That's probably what you were looking at earlier.
This is the difference right here. I got two choices. First of all, when I chose that car, I chose it specifically for the frame and body. And the reason is I went looking for something below the rust belt that had been sitting in a desert forever, because I was bringing it to a humid climate, and I coated it as soon as it got here, so it's solid. Problem is it's on the wagon chassis, and that chassis is currently attached to 500 horsepower of drag racer. And I would like for it to be attached to about 300 horsepower of tow monster. These are different things. I can't rectify the two without spending some money, I'm pretty sure. So that's what's going to happen, I suppose. Right? What's going on, truth be told? How you been doing? I saw your you did a video the other day. What was he doing? He was re-educating some of their local law enforcement on exactly where filming is acceptable and who. And also, like, this baffles me. How can a police department not have an officer complaint form? How can they look a person straight in the eye and say, "Go do it online"?
Well, they're supposed to.
They're supposed to. That confuses me.
And
it would be one thing.
No. The rules say they're supposed to have a paper form, right? So that they can be totally anonymous.
I was going to say, and that it'll be anonymous. And if you do it online,
whereas if you go online, you've got to give personal details, even if it's just your email address.
Good to see you, brother. A freaking Red Bull gave me the hiccups.
Oh dear,
coming on.
So yeah, that video you were showing does explain quite a lot. the platform which we're using is called PsyOp TV.
Right.
And we have the people who were shown on there were all part of vigilante.media, right? So we've gone so far. Now what we need is people to try out the platform. And once we've got enough people to try the platform out, then we'll know whether or not what needs strengthening, what doesn't need strengthening, and things like that. It's on a peer-to-peer connection. So anything as a member, if you had, say, 100 videos on there and somebody else put 100 videos up on there, you basically share them on the platform. So you've automatically got 200 videos. And you know, there's different things that we can do, you know, in a way of.
Sounds like a pyramid scheme.
No,
a content pyramid scheme. I'm not sure what I'm hearing here. Go ahead.
No, it's peer to peer.
Right, I get that.
So you know, instead of downloading it, it's already on the server. So you just play it.
Right.
Or if you choose to download it, you can do, provided you got the permission to do so from the creator, because you don't want to take stuff away from the creator and then to be uploaded under their name or to be passed on to somebody else.
That is.
You don't have to give it email. If you do things online, my understanding is somewhere along the process of registering to get access to the local council, certainly over here, you've got to give your email address so they can confirm that you are a real person.
Right. So, and when they confirm that you're a real person, they also have to confirm things like address, name,
Yes.
rank,
Yep.
serial number, that whole line.
Yeah, which is one of the reasons why I don't like putting out using my main email addresses. I just put out email addresses which are difficult to access.
I don't answer the phone. Ever. If I don't know the number, I don't answer it.
Right.
Period. I just don't care. If you need to get in touch with me, it's that important. My email is everywhere on my channel, right? It's everywhere you can think of. In fact, I'll even help it along a little bit right now by doing a different banner, as it goes like this. Oh, not that one. This one. Oh, that one's good too. I like it. That's the one. Yeah. And by the way, Grim Reaper says like, share, and comment because we're YouTubers. Damn it, that's what we do. We say those words repeatedly forever. I hate it.
And comment. You know, I must be a very strange content creator because I don't put anything together. I have an idea, and then I build on that idea depending on who's on the panel and what's going on in the chat. So for me to turn around and say like, share, subscribe, comment, and whatever else you want to do, it sort of goes out my head. It's the least of it. But in this situation, I know there's a lot of people in, and if Sasquatch doesn't mind, I'm sure like, sharing, and comments is ideal for him. It helps with his algorithms, apparently.
I always looked at it as this. You can do anything you want in video. You can then upload it to any platform you want to. YouTube is by far the largest video sharing platform currently available to the average person that can just pop in a email and go do it, right?
Yep.
And then you look at different channels and the way they go about it. I found a pop-up camper channel that has 232 subscribers. Her last 3 videos has over like 3,000 views each. And she's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, you're doing fine. You're doing just fine. You just let that percolate out. You'll be hunky dory. But it blows my mind because some people do it so naturally and other people have to try so hard at it. It's so taxing on them. Right. Like I enjoy sitting here and talking with you. I like sitting here and reading chat and having a nice little conversation the thing I like most about it is I know that in 40 minutes and 30 minutes, I'll be able to turn it off and y'all all have to go away. There is an end to it, and I can end it when I'm ready.
Yeah.
You can end it when you're ready. And that's really, I think, the draw to this type of an interaction.
Yes.
It's different from an actual face-to-face interaction.
Oh, yeah, yeah. The difference is, in most cases, you can see people's faces. He says, as he's sat in the dark. Actually, I'm not, but
yeah, that's
it's
pretty
a good
cool.
cover.
You got going there.
It's a good cover.
It
The other
reminds
thing,
of
sorry.
this. Do you remember? I don't know. Y'all might not have had it over there, but when the Sci-Fi Network was first starting out and they were testing all their connections and stuff, they did this really wacky video feed of like this woman repeating different famous names and different years for some weird reason. It was like a numbers station thing, but it was they were just testing signal formats and stuff, right? And they did it for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks straight, and then they went on the air with various shows for about 30 hours before they went live. They did a flyover of the surface of one of the trenches on Mars that had been mapped, right? And they did a full digitized thing where you got to run through the whole. It was cool. But at the end of it, there was this bit where this like cosmic entity noticed you or something, like the eyeballs opened up in the cosmos and it turned and looked at you, and that was like the end of it. And then Sci-Fi Network started.
Mm-hmm.
Your avatar right now, your face looks like that weird cosmic entity. Kind of creepy.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so where do you go with a with a platform of your own? How do you I mean, what's the next steps? Let's say you get 30 people on your platform. How many do you have currently? Just out of curiosity.
At the moment, I think there's about 7 off the top of my head. But what we want to do is to get people to use the service at different times and also at the same time, so we can see whether we need to open up a second one or a third one, because it all depends on how many people you can actually have the same stream, so to speak. But because it's bouncing between everyone's computer, it should, the more people that watch it, will increase the connection speeds. So there shouldn't be any lag.
Sort of like mesh network.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I mean, of course, not solid state on the net, but you know, I always like looking into mesh networks because the premise is very, very simple. You can build the unit for $12 out of any Radio Shack on Earth, like some hardware stores, if they've got a little bit of electronics in them, hobby shops, stuff like that. And you can extend your Wi-Fi range to wherever the hell you want to if you go build 15 of these things and drop them every 500 yards. The range ain't great, but the repeating signal is yours. Someone would have to know there to look for it. And you can feasibly set up relays that you can carry around turned off in your pocket. And if you get out of range of whatever your Wi-Fi base is, you just turn one on and drop it on the ground and walk away. You've got Wi-Fi. And there might be a little bit of a relocation feature built into it if you got real clever.
Yeah.
This is kind of the same concept, but actually online, where everybody takes a little load of the weight.
Yeah, but it's in reverse, because the more people that view, the stronger the connection is. I mean, the connection is pretty good the way it's all set up. The server belongs to Vigilante Media, and it always warns, because of to cover all legal grounds, etc., that your IP address may be seen by others. I've yet to see anybody else's IP address, and I've been running this for some months in the background. So I don't think it's possible unless you've got the right software, I suppose, and you can do whatever these people do.
I went and got a clip from MLH. I hope he's still around to catch this. This is one of my favorite moments on MLH's channel, Mexican Long Hair. Go check him out. He does cop watching, general lifetime vlogs, all kinds of stuff. But this is one of my favorite clips I've found. I spent a little while looking at his channel, and this happened a couple of weeks ago, and it is absolutely beautiful. It's one of those things that I just really hope I get to set up one day.
I'm not gonna change my fucking the way I speak to include their one shit as a program.
Well, you say that, but you do it all the time, Joe.
I do it all the time.
You do it all the time.
Listen, yes, I call motherfucker what they want to be called, but even motherfuckers start saying I want to be called. Like I've heard some crazy shit. I'm not gonna jump off that fucking.
But what's so crazy about they and them, Joe? What is crazy? Look, I gotta turn the camera back around. Look at this motherfucker right here. Look at him. Look right there.
Listen, if you want to call them they them, knock yourself out, man.
It's not hard, Joe. It's not like this.
I want to be called. Fuck that.
That is right there.
Call Joe. Fuck that from now on. What's up? Fuck that.
All right, so this is MLH, DJ K. Dot, Joe Cool, and Bernie all sitting in the same car.
Mm-hmm.
There's 12,000 subscribers in that car. Give or take. That's just cool. Hell, actually, Joe, I think Joe's got more than that now. I haven't looked in the past, I don't know how long, like 2 months, 3 months or so. I don't know. But that's cool. That's a cool scene. I really dig it. It's muted. And this is Tom from An Abstract Look painting the painting that is up here behind me that you can't see because it's out of frame. But yeah, I pulled some eye teeth and sent some mafiosos down there to go talk him out of it. MLH has a few of them. I think Swiss Miss has a couple of his prints. There's a couple other people, a couple of other folks on YouTube that's discovered the joy of An Abstract Look. He'd be too busy to do live streams now. You're 5 away from 3K. Are there 5 people in here willing to go give this man a sub? Maybe 7. I mean, actually, chances are most of the people in here are already subscribed to you. This is the worst place you could go for more viewers. Most of my subscribers are your subscribers.
Yes, I would agree with that because I think I'm sub to everybody who comes in here.
Oh yeah, no, I mean you picked up several of my previous guests. They're all great people. I mean, a few of them have some rather eccentric concepts and ideas. I mean, there's a flat earther, there's some firmament people, there's some religiosity folks, some fuzzy wuzzies and whatnot. They're all in there. I want to do a knitting channel, a fishing channel, a tiny house channel, and then a dog training channel. I was talking to what's his name? He was in here earlier. Great Boogly Moogly. Go ahead. I'm gonna find out who it was. Where are you at? I seen him.
His memory just not that good.
Mitten State Accountability has got a bunch of videos up on his channel about the Flint water crisis from like 7 years ago, 8 years ago. And I contacted him asking him if he'd be willing to do something of an update based off of those. Hey, Danny, good to see you, brother. And Mr. Self-Destruction, good to see you too. And see if he'd do an update on some of that Flint, Michigan water situation. Because if I remember right, it was either fixed right before Trump took office or right after Trump took office. I can't remember. But that's the story we got. An official story is that the water's fine now. But I was just curious if it's true. I mean, just asking.
It'd be good to, try and get old.
Yes, Mr. Self-Destruction. Being a nihilist is special, but only to you. While you are.
Right. Okay.
Well, nihilism has its place, but not for other people, just for me.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Makes sense.
They
Um,
don't.
so you've been in the Friday night shows,
Yeah,
listening in and taking part on the channel. So, what's your honest opinion?
well, I like the interaction between the different people that are there. They're from all over the place, all over the UK, all over America. There was a dude in there. I was lurking. I didn't actually come up on this one, but he's a Alaskan bush flyer, and he does channel where basically all you hear is engine noise and him taking off and landing. And it's actually really cool. But he showed up over there, and I've never seen him in a live stream commenting before. It was the only place I've ever seen him actually show up and talk, and that was really neat. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you never know who you'll find.
What can you remember?
It's
his
like
name?
it's like Fly By Night Alaska or Fly By,
Flyby. Yeah, I know what
like,
you mean. Yep.
but he rarely comments on live streams, but he was talking in yours.
Yeah. Well, we have a relaxed way of doing things. I think we don't take ourselves. I was going to say too seriously, but I think seriously is the word, because everybody comes in. They come from different areas. You have these same sort of issues as we have, where you got different factions going at each other, etc. Well, it's like a safe place, neutral zone, so to speak, where anybody can come in, and so long as they respect each other, they can stay. If you got any garbage, leave it at the door. We don't want to know too much like drama.
I'm not a huge fan of drama. It has its place. I personally think that you shouldn't bother feeding any trolls that you're not going to keep. Kind of like
Yes.
cats. You're not going to keep them, don't feed them. So when I find an especially talented troll, I take care to put food out for them.
Yes.
But these fly by night guys, I just don't feed the trolls on that count. So and I also have a Swiss Miz who is a walking guillotine with a band hammer. You might be able to get by everybody else over there, but
well, Miss has been in quite a few times. She's commented on a few of the things that we do or have done. We're forever looking to change and evolve slightly. I mean, this week we did have an interaction with everybody in the chats at the end. We had a 20 question quiz. But before that, it was just me and Grandad who were just chattering away about the cost of living.
right.
The fact that we're paying so much, even for petrol, gas. It works out at $8.50 at the moment per gallon.
Oh, wow.
Now, I don't know whether that's expensive over there or what, or whether it's cheap, but I'll tell you, it's expensive here when you work it out.
It is expensive here, there, and everywhere.
Mm.
Here, we're running about 509, 515 for high test or so. I haven't checked in a couple of days. That's ballpark.
Yeah.
And that's high here. That's high. We're pretty close to the coast, and we're right on the East Coast pipeline. So usually it doesn't get much over about $4.50 a gallon, and it's been steady above $5 for a minute.
It's still a lot cheaper than it is over here.
Yes, we're not an island. We're not an island.
No, you're right. Actually, you're not. You're smack in the middle of two different countries.
Right.
But,
both of them have a love of American money.
Yeah.
No,
I can understand that. It doesn't matter what face is on the bill. Would you like that? You have it.
It says you're too jovial to be a Grim Reaper. I'm like, could you imagine if this guy showed up with the signs like, well, it's about that time. So you tripped over and you're dead now.
I know when everybody's due. So I might as well make your life pleasant at the moment. Wait till you cross the threshold. But that's another story.
Yeah, this is all getting clipped. Like it's happening now. I got people in the background handling it.
It
Not
wouldn't
true.
be the first. It wouldn't be the first time. It wouldn't be the last time.
That's my life. I can lie about it if I want to. Anyway,
now, hey, I'll tell you something which has happened. We've had some bright spark come up with an idea. I thought it was fantastic at first until my name was dropped in it. They thought that the Grim Reaper was a cull, and I was the head of it. Work that one out.
well, I'm not sure anybody's ever actually seen your face. How would that work?
Well, exactly.
I don't see an army of women washing your feet with their hair.
Everybody who follows,
not-
everyone's following me. Everybody's doing this. Everybody's doing that. You with me? And
There's one thing I have an issue with on YouTube. Why do they have to call you subs? That bothers me. I know it's subscription, but it also translates into submissive as well, which is it's kind of hard one to swallow.
Well, what would you rather have the term? Followers?
Stalkers.
Stalkers, okay.
That's what we should do on yours. Is like instead of having subs or followers or just have just call it. We'll call a spade. What it is. It's a stalker. These are willing stalkers that you willingly post videos for.
Yes,
that's brilliant. I love that.
And everything else. Yes.
That is
I
very
must admit, and when I first got your request to come up and revisit, I wasn't too sure what you had planned, and I thought, well, what
I get a lot of that.
Is not going to work.
I get a lot of that. People immediately assume I'm a troll the second they see my name. It's like Caucasian Sasquatch. He's obviously trolling. That might have been my last trolling act, was naming this channel.
No. I think your channel's name is probably better than... No, it's not. You're right.
Exactly.
What I do want to do, you asked, well, you suggested to me in the past that I should really nominate some people who I have worked with, and I would like to highlight, because I don't like using the word promote.
Why don't you shield them on Sasquatch Shills? That would be a handy way of handling things. You wouldn't even have to say the word.
I can send them over to you. I'm more than happy to do that. It's just a time frame, mate. It really is. They're due, some of them, within the next week or so. So it's just a time frame. Can't be done. It's all right. They don't know yet.
Swizz Miz, I always thought your avatar was a fancy llama. Interesting.
Oh, up there. Ah, right. Okay. Now it's definitely belongs to the apes.
That is apparently a milkmaid, brother. Fancy llama.
I can see that actually.
What's that line from Drama Llama? This about the mama. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't. That's it. Baby llama. What a tizzy. Can't remember it. My wife does that crap. Anytime somebody pitches a fit, she'll look at them like, baby llama, what a tizzy. Llama's very busy. And it's hard. You can't do nothing you can do about that. You just look at it and go, all right. Yes, ma'am. I understand.
Yeah, forget it. Didn't matter.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm all over the place tonight. I've been kind of in a whole bunch of different live streams today, like poking around, talking to folks, see what folks is doing. Because I was kind of out incognito for about 2 weeks, and on YouTube, that's like 8 months. Compression. Right.
I'm just wondering I think you need to come up on one of my shows. I think I return the favor and just have the two of us, and maybe 2 or 3 others. I think I can get 6 on.
Just keep in mind one thing. One of the reasons I do these one-on-one streams is because I'm mostly deaf in my left ear, partially deaf in my right ear. And so when you see me wearing these head cans, it's because a normal earbud doesn't generally make enough sound to get through. So when there's 3 or 4 people talking, I have no fucking clue who's saying what, especially if they got different accents. Like if they all sound British, I'll be lost. I'll try though. I'll do my best.
I'll try something else and I'll take that into consideration. I wouldn't drop you in it.
I have that car. That's not Grim's car. That's not my car either, but that's the same model car I have. Turn it into a big old monster truck or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I think it'll be cool. But yeah, no, it's basically the same critter as that right there. But yeah, we get together over on your show and we cover what kind of topics in general. Is it mostly political, apolitical? Is it?
Depends. It can be political at times, but it's more. Well, yes, it is actually, because we talk about rights. So anything which is associated with rights is political by nature, anyway. Found a porcupine.
I'm sorry, a pork rage pig. Sassy. His name forever be cursed. I don't know. He's everything that's wrong with social media, in my opinion. I mean, I don't even want to have that conversation. That's not the type of channel this is. So how about them dogs? What's been going on in your neck of the woods? What are we doing this weekend? When's your next show?
It'll be next Friday.
Next Friday?
Yeah.
You just do it once a week, or do you produce for other people?
No, I only do the YouTube once a week, but I tend to appear on different shows at different times of the day because of my sleeping pattern. So I've mainly been working in the background, as I say, with PsyOp TV. I've produced some stuff for there, trying to find out what the limitations are and how compatible it is with other software that I need to use. And there's actually nothing wrong with the PsyOp and the software. It was the software counteracting the other software. It was ridiculous. I've got to figure a way around that, because when I've got people coming in from different areas and they're all on camera, I want to be able to get them all in at the same time. You know, we're having a conversation. It's not too bad on a one-on-one. I could probably work that one quite easily. But as I say, I use different types of software. I'm still looking for the ideal one for streaming. Because you got the Restream, you got StreamYard, so I can use Skype, OBS. I think I'm having a few problems with OBS, but I'll work that one out one way or another. I have to just do a single show with just myself, a short, even, say 30 seconds, no more. Yeah, maybe I should do a few of those and try those out.
If you want to run a little bit of an algorithmic statistical gambit, my advice would be film 3 a day, upload 1 a day, or schedule 1 a day for release and do it for 30 days. I can almost guarantee you a pickup of about 50 subs. Whether they stick around or not, it's a whole nother ballgame.
Well, I can say that about the channel as it is. I think we're around just under 350, I think. Right. Which for a small channel that
hey Belt Luke, good to see you, brother.
Does different things and listens to what people in the chat says.
Right. Well, I mean,
I don't think it's that bad.
you do a better job at like interacting with chat with a group on panel than most hosts that I've seen. You tend to bring the chat further into the panel discussion, and you constantly reset the discussion back to hey, food toy, back to whatever the topic was or whatever the chat was talking about.
Yeah,
and that's handy. Would you stop?
Yeah.
Stop. No, I don't want to search anything. Stop it. Why are you? In the middle of that, I said something that sounded very much like the words "hey." No, don't do it. Google. I don't know what I said, but it triggered that thing, and it had written 3 paragraphs to search.
Oh, right. Okay.
I just looked over and like the whole screen was full of me talking. I was like, what the fuck? Possessed. It's the ghost in the machine. Okay. So let's do something really off the wall, something completely different.
Yeah.
How dangerous do you personally think AI is? Artificial intelligence.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's better than me. How dangerous it is, potentially on a scale of 1 to 10, 30.
I agree. I actually agree. AI is one of the very few future threats of mankind that could feasibly not only win, but basically turn us into a matrix battery if we're not careful. That's assuming it bothers keeping us around at all. I mean, if we're a threat, why would it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they've done enough Hollywood movies about that sort of thing, haven't they? So who knows? They could have even be predicting the future. No, seriously, AI is. I don't like giving any information to anybody. Never mind having to give personal information out to Google to set up an account. But what really annoys me is when you don't know what people are doing with that data. Where's it going? What AI's picked it up? For what reason? You know, what they're trying to do, build a robot that's got human ideas.
Welcome to the show, Brain Jerk Entertainment. I hope I said that correctly. Is it English? I think it was.
Sounded it.
Sounded pretty good, didn't it?
Yep.
Several days later. I'm still having like horrendous sinus issues from constantly yeah, it is the devil. It is a soulless automaton that has no feelings. You can't beseech it. It never sleep. What is it? What is it? Reese says they never sleep. It has no remorse. It will never stop hunting you.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. I'm actually less terrified of like a robot driven future than I am of the great use future.
Yeah. Well, maybe they both come in.
Well, the gray ooze. See, I'm afraid that when we do get out in space and we start looking around and finding alien intelligences, that we won't find any alien intelligences. We'll find various AIs battling it out for supremacy, and they immediately turn on life anytime they find it. Because here's a funny thing: looking at the universe, most of it is nothing special. It's chemistry and inorganics. In fact, as far as we can tell, the only part of the universe that is not simply chemistry and inorganics is Earth. That's pretty rare.
Or is that what they want us to believe?
Well, I haven't been visited by an alien. They haven't dropped off my Amazon products yet. I'm just saying, if they were friendly and they were intergalactic and they were local, they wouldn't talk to us because we're on a prison planet. We've already gotten loose once before, and they've smacked us back down to zoo level.
I've just thought, playing devil's advocate, so to speak, is that just, is AI innocent? Oh no, that's just a load of bull. That, sorry, forget that one. Don't put that.
This is the Builds by B channel. I was just looking for the right year model and right build car, and this is essentially the same car with where I've done some lifts and stuff to mine that aren't on this one. I'm not sure that one's running in 396 either.
Either way, it's a really nice looking car.
Yes, sir. Hands down, my favorite vehicle ever created by the hands of man. When I was a kid, my pops took me to a car show because it was the first time on the East Coast that all of the Corvettes were going to be shown together. I mean, all of them, not just like all but these 2 or 3 models.
Mm-hmm.
All of the Corvettes produced that are actually available for car shows were there. Also, there was a very, very impressive collection of El Caminos. And at this point, I had only seen 2 El Caminos and had no idea that the long body existed. That 69 is just gorgeous. And I was walking down the line with Corvettes on one side and El Caminos on the other. And we stopped looking at 2 cars and basically talked about how cool they were. Then I realized he was looking at Corvettes and I was looking at El Caminos. He's like, man, real car is over here. I said, are you joking? That thing is beautiful. Look at it. I'll paint mine bright yellow. Do it up like a bumblebee. Something like that. Get some Sasquatch slashes through the side. It'd be great. Get some vinyl. We'll figure it out.
Or get it kitted out with Sasquatches on the outside. One big one.
I don't know. It's still a work in progress. I haven't even touched. I haven't even cleaned it off. I mean, trunk it up, backed it over there, and parked it. Right before about a year before COVID, and parts have been real hard to get a hold to, so I just hadn't really bothered. And when I started thinking about actually traveling, that would be a very comfortable ride. It has more foot room than you could possibly imagine, dude. And it's rated as a light truck. Probably pull 6 tons with it. And the cool part is I've already got all of like the oversized rotors, the cooling rotors and all that stuff for like the tow package. It's all on the car. All of that's already there. All I'd have to do is put in big tires and something of a lift. I just got to figure out whether or not the transmission and rear end build is going to be compatible with the concept.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. If all else fails, I get an Avalanche and weld that body to the top of it and just drives right out.
You would be taking off on the side windows.
Oh, yeah, baby. I'll be straight taking the piss on that. Crawling over people's cars. You get K15, K10, something like that. You know what's really messed up, and I really wish I hadn't done it at this point. I once owned the long body, I think it was a 86 custom Suburban, big ass 454. You could land a 767 in the fucking bed of this thing. Has the roll down window in back. That beautiful piece of equipment, and I sold it for $1,000 like 5 years ago, because I already had 5 cars. And that thing is a gas guzzler. It looks like a bus, a freaking school bus. But it's a beautiful thing. It's just too much of everything. It was me, my wife, and that was all we had. That was us, you know. I could load my entire life up in a duffel bag, me and my wife. Be gone for a month. Nobody knew nothing about it. But so when I got looking around for something to actually road trip in, I got looking for an El Camino because you can put a camper shell on that thing and ride out, son.
You just got to get the right wheelbase, etc.
Yeah, I got a good bit of work I got to do, and I don't want to do it in the summer, so that's going to be winter work. Or I might just pay somebody to do it if I can find the right guy. Well, it's not so much a matter of preferences. It's a drag racer car. It's completely incapable of being a daily driver. I have tinkered with it, trying to get it to tone down enough. And the last time I drove it in public, I ended up doing 360s in front of the police department in Tennille. Because while I was over there talking to those folks, it started raining a little bit, and I went, "Oh shit, I'm not going to be able to get that thing out of the driveway." They're like, "Oh, it'll be fine." I said, "You don't understand. There's no weight on that rear end. It's got to push that 396, and if it can't get a grip, it won't. I got to get it moving before it rains too much." And I was able to back out, and when I started to pull forward, it just slow spun and slid around in a circle. I kept going, "What in the world?" That's not what it's made for. It's not made to be a drag racer, but somebody decided to do it anyway.
And the copies
depends on your build, Mr. Self-Destruction. This El Camino has a full, basically a C10 Cheyenne 10, not Cheyenne, a C10 rear end. It's got a big, heavy super knuckle built basically for towing, but then it has I believe, a custom planetary setup on the rear end. I don't remember what it is, but it's like a 410 or 418 ratio. It's not for towing. So if I replace that, it should be fine. It's got the super jacked up suspension and everything for the rear end. I took out the airbags and all that crap because, I mean, those things never actually worked in the first place. You know, it's just work. It's just effort and work. That's what it's going to come down to.
Well, you'll work it out one way or another. You just got to get motivated.
I'm motivated. I am.
Well, that's all right.
The issue is that I have to find a mechanic willing to do this work. And the first guy I went and talked to looked at me and said, "I'm not doing that to a 69 El Camino. No, I won't." And I was like, "That's what I want. I can't drive it as it is. If it sprinkles a little, if somebody turns on a freaking sprinkler in their front yard and it gets the road a little bit wet, the damn thing's a death trap." Also, it doesn't like the gas in Georgia because we have a little bit of ethanol in it. So it just spits and sputters that crap up all the time. Burns gas like crazy. And I don't mean like 8-cylinder like crazy. I mean like jet fuel like crazy. The damn thing will pop a wheelie. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm dead serious. If it catches and hooks up, it picks the front end of that 396 up like it ain't nothing. Absolutely terrifying. I was hoping I'd get a car with a mostly blown engine that would barely limp home, so I wouldn't feel bad about taking it out and stuff. But I'm over that.
Trouble is you got something though that is a death trap, and you need something.
Exactly. Hello,
if it doesn't cause a problem for you, it might cause a problem for somebody else.
Right.
Right. And that's.
I'll tell you, part of what made it dangerous was when I got it here, I noticed there was a bunch of little things wrong with the engine, and I went through and fixed those little things, and it picked up about 60 more horsepower than it had when I drove it here. And then I went through and replaced all of the suspension systems and all the weird little metal on metal connections with bushings and all that stuff, so that now, as it sits, it's a completely new control arms, everything. Everywhere two pieces of metal come together and there's anything between it, I replaced it. And if it wasn't, if it wasn't, some parts OEM is better, and in other parts aftermarket is better. So an original sway bar was stronger in 1969 when it was installed, but a modern sway bar is built better, right? So even though that stronger sway bar is technically better, if you actually take it off the car and put it through the stress test, it has been work hardened over time and has a lower pressure point. So really replacing them is better than leaving one that's been on the car since 1930.
Yeah.
Run.
Well, I was going to say, you'd have to get it to work first, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I can go out there and crank it up right now, and it'd take me about an hour and a half of getting all the juices back flowing. I'd have to put oil on top of the cylinders and stuff. It hadn't moved in a coon's age. You know, I put it there for storage. You know, that was the reason I put it there, to put it there until I decided what to do with that engine. Now, if I can pull the engine out and sell it and replace it, that's fine. No problem. I can just, and that works. I'm happy. Otherwise, I may be willing to part with it and the chassis and just put the body on something that'll go. Bud. Zoom. Because that's the only purpose is to haul my fat ass and my wife around, and we'll come by and see y'all and be like, hey, but not you. I can't come see you.
Yeah, I know.
But I have always wanted a yacht. Wait till the next hurricane blows through down there. I can get me one. Get me a John boat. Go steal me a yacht. That's how you do it.
Make sure that it's changed. The name.
Oh well, no, in Florida, people regularly lose boats during hurricanes, and later when they're found, you either get salvage or you can keep it.
All right.
And there's a few people that on YouTube who have gone and purchased yachts that had washed up in people's yards.
Jeez.
Right? And they go and put them on a trailer, and they got buku money, and they go fix them and go live on them like a tiny house. See, I think that's what everybody's missing on the tiny house thing. They need to look at boats. Them people have been doing it for centuries.
Yeah, we have people still live on canal boats.
Canal boats are cool as hell, man. You need to look at those people for tiny house ideas. Yes, sir. What's up, Blue Unicorn? Good to see you.
Narrow and long. Canal boats or barges, as they were originally.
That is nice. See, I don't have most of the information as to what the individual parts of this El Camino are, because the guy I bought it from was so fed up with it. His dad bought him an actual SS 69 El Camino, right? And he was pissed off because he had just spent all this time and effort to drag race this clone SS. That's not really an SS, He'd put all the effort to making it an SS, and then his dad just goes out and buys him one. So he sold that one cheap, and I didn't realize it was I thought it was some hot rod teenager wanting to pretend to drag race, when in reality it was a guy drag racing it. Like, oh, shit.
And then doing some wheel spins.
You're a couple of donuts. That's right. You're done, dude. That's a show. We did it.
That's fine.
15 minutes ago, actually. So pretty good. I'm gonna drop the link in chat and catch my chat back up. I missed what is it? IB. What's that? I saw him. IB Thunder. IB Thunder. That's good stuff, baby. I actually tried to buy a Chevy Nova too. It was just a base model job. That thing's big as a boat. I offered the guy $400 for it, and he flat tried to tell me that it was a $5,000 car. 6 weeks later, after he had declared bankruptcy and could no longer accept money on his property, they scrapped it for $77. I crunked that car up. I went back there and squirted some crap in it and did some things, and then jumped it off and sat there and stared at him and was like, $350. I'll drive it out right now. Oh, it's at least $5,000. You're crazier than a shithouse rat and going under as fast as a freaking Titanic. Why don't you take a little bit of money while you got the chance? Stop being an asshole. No. Bye. Dude, it was beautiful too. The only problem was the hood was rusted completely out. It had been backed under a pine tree when the pine tree was this tall, and then the pine tree grew, and so the whole back end of that car was just like you could grow mushrooms. No problem. I went and dug I think it was a 67 Comet out of a freaking goat pen one day. I was riding along, and there's this Comet sitting in this briar patch, and there's like this goat standing on it chewing cud or whatever they do. I'm like, let's go check this out. Hey, Freaky Geek, good to see you, brother. Let's go check this out. And found this old black guy sitting up on the porch smoking a corncob pipe. Never said much more than no, yeah, no, yeah, okay. And he had the title. He had bought that car new 50, 60 years ago. He parked it in that goat pen, and he built that goat pen around it. I was like, there anything wrong with it? He's like, wasn't when I parked it. I just don't drive much. Okay. Drove that car home. My mom made me sell it immediately. She's like, 16-year-old don't need a comment like that. It's the coolest car ever, Ma. It's got its own goat shit. So, that kind of started a trend where every now and then I just catch a hankering and I'm like, I swear to God, I can crank that car and drive it. It was like this Amigo next door. I swear to God, I could give me 3.5 hours with it. I'll have it running. You give me 5 hours and I'll drive it away. Might not drive it far. It may go completely to hell as soon as I get it out of it, but it will crank up and leave on its own fucking motion. I don't know. It's just something I've always been able to do. I can smell a decent engine. I don't know how to explain it. That one hadn't been touched. That Amigo has been untouched since 2001, I think. She parked it in 2000 and somebody tinkered with it right afterwards. Said they were thinking about buying it and they got under the hood. Since then, a few people have looked, but when I went and looked, it was in mint condition. The damn thing had dust on it. That was the only problem. Squirt a little oil in there, get it lubed up real good, change the oil, change all your crap, a couple of new spark plugs, maybe some wires, spray out the distributor, get rid of all the wasp nests, dirt daubers, and ants. Kick the raccoon out of the back seat and drive it out. I'd like to film it. I'm trying to get in touch with her. She is hard to get in touch with because she doesn't come out often. She goes to doctor's appointments, and that's it. That's all.
Right.
So that would be cooler, in my opinion. I mean, just me and my wife, that's a huge vehicle. It's just me and her. Little 4-cylinder, ride around everywhere at 55. Beautiful, man. It's gorgeous. And that one I might be able to get across the pond. It's 4-wheel drive. I don't know if that matters. It certainly beats ready though. God, I want it so bad. Taste it. I'll go sit on Mom's porch. Do it like what was the dude's name in Fight Club? Robert Paulson. Go stand on the porch and wait patiently until I'm accepted. Just not say nothing until she acknowledges me. Walk in and out. I think I drink too much Red Bull. Hey Rachel, I need a cup of coffee. Maybe not. Leave her alone for a little while. Maybe not yell at her no more.
Yeah, I was about to say caffeine on top of caffeine, even with coffee.
Hey man, I gotta talk to you about this, dude. This is a really weird thing I've noticed about your channel. I am not permitted to use your emblem, your avatar. It had the last 2 times you've been on the show and I tried to use it, it came up as my backup, the painting picture.
Right.
I'm not sure if it's copyrighted or they just don't want to put skulls up or what, but that's been a little bit of an issue. I'm just pointing it out.
Oh, right. Okay. I wasn't aware of that.
On your channel, it shows up fine, but when I blow it up and show it big enough to actually be seen what it is, they block it out and put my painting up instead of.
Right. Okay.
I don't know. It happened both times I've hosted you. So.
Oh, right. Okay.
First time I thought it was just a glitch because it happens sometimes. It happened with Road and Toe. When they come on, I couldn't put their avatar up.
Right. Well, I suppose it stops people from nicking it and posing as me.
Not really, because I could totally jack it,
right.
the gamma on it and upload it. You wouldn't be able to visually tell a difference.
Right. Oh, well.
Ooh. Of course, then again, I could sell all this crap and just go get me one of them big ass diesels, right? And just move into it, be done. Sell this, sell that, sell everything else, and just ride out. Would that make me homeless? Would I technically be homeless then?
Yes.
That's not recreational, I guess. Makes sense. I never did get around to doing the link. My bad. Got distracted. Looking at pretty cars. Ba-dum-bum, bing, bop, boom. We're gonna do that thing, and then we do this thing, and then we replace the pin message. A Swiss Miss is an absolute bouse. Yep. All right, y'all are welcome to click in if you wish. I'm definitely gonna have to see something resembling some sort of body part that is non fish oriented, or know you. Yeah, if you know me, you know you're up here, but I don't know you yet. And I guess OPD would be acceptable, but less animal noises maybe. I don't know. It's only mildly annoying. So how often do you do the whole travel thing? Oh baby, what is up, my boss?
Hey, what's going on, Sasquatch? What's up, Grim?
Oh yeah.
Not much, man. I just saw you live. Finally got a little bit of respite after this long ass week.
Oh, don't you ain't telling me nothing, brother. Um, last 2 weeks was an absolute freaking nightmare. Uh, I thought I was out a whole big old pile of money, and
Yeah,
I couldn't get it out of my head, and so I just stepped away from YouTube entirely because I did one live stream and ended up having a absolute freaking 3-year-old cussing fit. I didn't have nothing to do with those people. Nothing.
I wish I could step away for a second, man. It seems like when I do that, like one of two things happens. People are wondering if I'm dead, or I get behind on a lot of shit.
Yeah, no, work line come and dug me up. It's like, you all right? I'm like, yeah, dude. I just
Yeah,
don't want that asshole. Hell, I might have been slanderous or liable, or however that goes. You know,
right.
might have to be litigious.
Yeah. No, you showed a quick video earlier.
That's
With
one of
Joe
the most
Cole.
pieces on your channel I've ever seen. It's glorious.
Yeah, it was pretty fun actually fucking with Joe Cole. It's not often you get a chance to like corner him into uncomfortable, topics and stuff. So it's nice to corner
Exactly.
him, you know.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, man. That particular clip is one of my favorites, and it's because of A, the group that's in there, and B, the fact that you actually managed to back Joe Cool into a corner where he had to stop, grit his teeth, and figure out what to say next.
Right. And
Got
it's
me that
usually
way
the
the
other way. It's usually the other way around.
No, he got me a couple weeks ago. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's usually him like really slyly, like just listening, and then all of a sudden when he pipes up, he'll have a very astute observation that people
yes,
can't ignore, whether it's right or wrong. I mean, you can't ignore it,
I like his use of reductive reasoning.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's,
yeah, yeah.
he has a very keen intellect when it comes to
Right.
reductive reasoning. But
Right.
reasoning only goes so far. It doesn't work in big systems. So
Right. 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 I mean it was just such a cool, refreshing stream too. I'm glad you brought that one up.
yes, we have
I'm
Swizz Biz. Thank you.
I'm actually really happy you're one of the few people to notice, like
Oh no, I saw that shit from a mile away, dude. Nailed it. I was like,
but it was just a real funny moment, and I don't know. Those hot tubs break up the monotony of everything, and the bullshittery that goes on, it's just such a fun diversion, I mean, there's a couple of diversions on the channel, but that one I'm extremely proud of that because that's oh, did we lose Grim? Sorry.
yeah, he's in the UK.
Oh, I gotcha.
Hit and miss.
So, it just I don't know. It was just kind of a fun little deal, and it's nice to break up a lot of the real drama, as I call it, the drama on the streets with
Yeah.
moments of levity, and it I have to do that, Sasquatch, because otherwise, man, if we don't have any fun, man, like it's too much despair, it's too much, it's just too much to handle mentally from a mental health standpoint.
I
So
agree.
it's just really nice,
There's it's amazing that you're able to kind of put yourself through this stuff, and it only bothers you the way it bothers you, right? I don't know how
Right.
to explain what I mean. It would get to me.
Right.
It would get to me a lot quicker than it seems to get to you.
Yeah. I can't read what they're saying in chat, Sasquatch. Somebody addressed me. I don't know.
Uh,
My screen's so small I can't.
yeah, I know. Yeah. See how will hold up. How far back was it?
Just recent. It was just right there. Here, let me see if I can see it. Let's see. Huh.
I'm missing something. I think.
Must have been a bit back, but somebody said something about. Oh, that was you. I thought they were addressing me. They were actually addressing you, Sasquatch. But that's just my narcissistic tendency coming
Welcome
to
to YouTube.
right,
You don't do this unless you at least have a touch of it. Joe
right.
told me that I had no ego. And that's what he liked about the show. And I was like, I'm a fucking YouTuber. What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Well, no, I think you're partially right, Sasquatch, but I think there are people that are genuinely not in this for themselves. You know what I mean? I mean, it is nice to see your name in other people's chats and people talking about you. I'm not gonna lie, but that's not. You know, there are people that genuinely care about what they're doing and they enjoy the work that doesn't pay. You know what I mean? Like there's
Right.
like you know, I
That's
know. Yeah.
I strongly stand by it. You do what you love and film it. And
Right.
it will your passion to do what you're doing will come through in the video, even if it's only in, your interaction or your dedication or whatever. Like my best example, Fiona Rawls.
Yeah.
She has a great eye for content, right?
Right.
But her execution just needs practice.
Right. Right.
She's really frustrated because it doesn't come out the way she wants it, and you can kind of see it.
Right. Right.
She's trying so hard, and that's part of the problem. Back up,
Yeah, I
just
think
let it happen.
yeah, if you just let it like if you let yourself, you know, I hesitate to say don't pay attention and don't try, but if you're more natural, stuff happens the right way. You know what I mean? Like if you're not thinking about it and you're just doing it, then I mean, I get into not trouble, but people are like, why didn't you cite this? Why didn't you cite this statue? Why didn't you? It's like, look, if I spent every waking moment of my life like reading all these statues, first of all, I have like a reading problem ever since I got carbon monoxide problem, so I can't retain information. All I know is that I'm doing the right thing every time. I'm never breaking the law. I'm always I'm always like trying to be calm, cool, and collective, even though, sometimes the temper does flare when it has to. But as long as you let your instincts take over more than anything, then you're gonna be okay.
Right.
Just don't get too heated and you're gonna be just fine. Like the other day, I mean, an officer put his hands on me, which I think is the video that you're showing
I think
right
so.
there. Yeah, this video is interesting
I
because
was, I was actually going to cover this in After Dark. I think it's tomorrow.
yeah,
Since you showed up, I figured I'd pop it up.
yeah, why not? I mean, shit. But yeah, this one's interesting because you know, the cop actually tells me to stand where I'm standing and then immediately starts pushing me around. And then he gave both of us a really good shove. But KDOT, I don't know if I quite pick it up on camera, but I saw it with my own eyes. KDOT got really shoved from behind. And it was pretty disturbing, and it shouldn't have happened that way. They should have just left us where we were, gone on with their business. We weren't doing anything but filming. That's just, look, here we go. This guy, oh my God, this guy's a tyrant. He wanted to arrest me for standing there recording. And and you know what? I didn't back down. I wasn't gonna back down. There was no tape. Nothing of that nature to. And as soon as I mentioned tape, I'm the one that mentioned the tape, right? So this guy gets tape and he puts it behind me, and then the other guy gets emboldened to start pushing us around. So this guy is a danger to
He's a
society.
hall monitor. He was
Yes, this
in high school. He was a hall monitor. He thinks
no
this
doubt.
gives him extra rights.
No doubt, no doubt. And this guy is going to get somebody killed, and I think we mentioned it on the video. You're the type of officers that's going to get somebody killed, and he really is. It's just
That's great advice, Freaky Geek. Yeah, I forget that crap all the time. I'll be sitting there wondering why they're talking to people that aren't in chat. It's because I'm not on live chat. I'm on top chat.
yeah. But no, this guy, I mean, he was going to get his way one way or the other. I mean, there was no doubt. But it was funny because the other officer comes in and he tells me specifically that I could stand where I'm standing, which is about 30 feet away, from the scene. And then they proceed to push us back and, physically use force, which I am not a fan of at all whatsoever. I don't like when they put hands on anybody for the wrong reasons. The right reasons, like if you got somebody that's, let's say, drunk or belligerent that needs to be subdued in a manner that is in accordance with their policy,
Right.
then I have no issue with that. But they had no reason to put their hands on us at all.
And it's like they're not trained to have any other response other than physical force.
That's a good point, Sasquatch. Like I've been saying it for years, man. I mean, I think we just need to start over with police. I mean, clear across the country. I mean, if it takes firing every single officer and restarting, then that's the way it should be. I mean, we need better training. We need psych evaluations every 6 months for these officers. I mean, alone the stress of the job of what goes along with it would warrant somebody to get their head checked every once in a while. I mean, there's lots of stuff that they see, i.e., death and dismemberment and shootings and stabbings and stuff that the human mind just can't alone fathom. It's like the old Cthulhu madness stuff. I mean that it has to take a toll on your mind. It's just the way that it is. It has to has to be something that's looked at more closely, and unfortunately right now, I mean, there's no physical standards, there's no mental standards. I mean, there's barely even any educational standards. I
There's
mean,
not.
6 months or less is not enough to prepare these guys for what they're getting into. It simply isn't. Like if you look at what Norway does, for instance, right? You have to have equivalent of a 4-year degree before you can even fathom going out into the field. They won't let their police officers even into the field until they've had almost 4 years of training. And that's key. That's something that should be done here. Especially with the wages they're getting. I mean, they make a crap ton of money. I think the minimum I think is like 60,000-70,000 a year, which is pretty nice. And they quickly go up the ladder to where they're making upwards of 200 grand a year. Plus benefits.
If they're clean.
Yeah, if they're
They're
clean.
dirty. They go up the ladder way quicker.
Oh,
and
no doubt.
Way
No
more.
doubt. No doubt.
So I
No
was curious. I asked somebody else this a few weeks ago. What year do you reckon the mafia took over the police in Colorado?
Oh boy, man, that's a great question, Sasquatch. It's. I mean, thinking back, I mean, just in my personal life, I mean, I can remember them being this way. I mean, dating back to the '80s, maybe late '70s. You know what I mean? I mean, it's. But see, there's also another reason to start over, Sasquatch. Like there have been a few studies out there to say that white supremacy is a thing in the force. I know that there are black officers and brown officers, but the white nationalists have definitely infiltrated the police force in droves, and it's a huge issue, and that's a main reason why, disproportionately, brown and black people are killed. It's a bloodlust.
There's a whole bunch of statistical reasons that stack a whole bunch of issues in the same areas that cause an overlapping effect of people being pulled over,
Uh-huh.
accosted, physically detained, and in some cases kidnapped in particular areas because certain activities take place in those areas. And so
Right.
these people that want to do these things to people go there to do these things.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. I mean, there's multiple reasons why we have to start over. I mean, I have a feeling it's too late, and we're never going to get a chance to start over, and things are going to be, the same. Basically, all we are doing, I don't consider myself purely a 1A auditor or a cop watcher. I do many things. I wear many hats, but I just think that our purpose is just to hold the line. Because if you don't flex your rights, you're going to lose them, and that's reason enough for me to risk my life when I go out there. You know what I'm saying?
That's a very conservative opinion.
Right.
I agree. Not that it matters. As long as I agree with the opinion, we're all good. You know?
Well, you're free to disagree. No worries.
Sure, freedom is a great thing. But on YouTube, you have to agree with them, regardless of what your personal narrative might be.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Well, you kind of have to with the police too.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
at any moment they can set the terms. Like that video was a great example. I mean, and I was standing my ground. I wasn't going to move anywhere, and I was willing to be arrested for doing nothing wrong. Just by standing there and recording. And it would have happened that way if it was up to that first cop that came up to us. He wanted to go hands on so bad, and I was waiting for it. Not because I like to be roughed up or anything, but at that point you just have to stand up for your rights. We do have certain rights in this country, and I know it's that way in England, Grim. I mean, it's very kind of similar, in some ways better, some ways not so much, but it just here I just think that we are the last bastion of holding the line. You know what I mean? Like not to quote Toto or anything, but it just if we don't do what we're doing, then who else is what other rights are we going to lose? How quick are we going to lose
Yeah.
them? We're just slowly, like we're trying to slow the process down to a crawl. I think that's our purpose in this whole thing.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Every time you stand up to whoever reckons they've got authority over you, if you know you're in the right, it'll do nothing more than annoy them, and it'll show them up to be what they are, which is tyrants. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a policeman, whether it's the town hall being idiots or local MP or whatever. You've just got to stand up for them because we don't have that many rights.
Right. That's right. That's right. Hey, can I address that
Yeah,
question from
that's
Swiss
what
Smith?
it's up there for you specifically.
Yeah. I you would hope that that's the case, Swiss Miss. Maybe it's that way where you are, but it's not that way where I am. I know the LA sheriffs are dirty. Um, Most sheriff departments are really super uber dirty and have a lot of dirt on their hands. Case in point, I saw a video yesterday. I can't remember. Maybe it was Riverside Accountability that it was where no, it was Ice Cold Audits. Was live on this on a hostage situation, and the sheriffs were there. Right, it was the sheriffs. It wasn't LAPD, and they got the guy out, and nobody was hurt, thankfully, and everything was kind of calmed down. But they stood around for about 40 minutes in a circle talking to each other. Now, it doesn't take a genius to figure out what they were doing, right? They're sitting there trying to get their stories in line so that they
Mhm.
don't get in trouble. you know, and that's a problem. You know, there's no accountability there. If you can create your own narrative at the scene of a crime, then what chance does anybody have for due process? You know, it's a systemic breakdown
Yep.
at it, you know, most cellular of levels, you know, and it's definitely
Always,
some. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
always go this statement. They say it's only a few bad apples, but the saying is not right because only a few bad apples, even one bad apple, and the baker throws out the whole bunch. He sends them back. Just one, a
Right.
single bad apple in a barrel. The whole barrel goes back.
I
Maybe
used to
a
bel
whole bunch.
I wanted to believe that, and there's still tons of people that believe the few bad apples theory, Sasquatch. But
Well, here's where they lose the track. This is where they
Mhm.
lose. They assume that these criminal people inside are doing it secretly and clandestinely. No,
Right,
the good officers that you are aware of are culpable by the very fact that they are aware of it.
right. Well, and that's the complicit. You're talking about complicity, and there's a ton of that, and that's when somebody talks to me, when I have a level-headed conversation with somebody that believes that it's just a few bad apples, and I point out the many videos that are on YouTube or otherwise, right? Regular news, lamestream media, you know, YouTube, TikTok, whatever. When I point out that, you know, these officers that you think are good, how many times have they turned their cheek? How many times have they lied on a police report? How many times have they seen something that they could have prevented that they didn't? That makes them every bit as bad as the people that are caught on camera doing some shitty things, you know. And that's where I truly believe, and I know some people are like that, you know, just they dismiss it out of hand and they think it's ludicrous when I say that 90% of all officers are corrupt. This is what I'm talking about. Just
Yeah,
because you don't do
casual
something
corruption.
right,
Problem.
casual corruption. That's right. That's right. And that's a huge issue. That's a huge problem. I mean, not only is it cowardice, which we saw in Uvalde, right? It's also enabling of others. And then the other problem is when somebody does speak out, right? They they are immediately put on a list of people to get the fuck out of the force. And that has happened more times than not. I mean, we
And
had a police chief here in Aurora.
there's an
Uh,
exception. These people, you've got the concept of a gypsy cop, right? Where they did
yes,
something wrong and they moved to a different force where nobody knows about it, and they just
right.
try to do that again, but they end up doing it again and they move to another force somewhere else, right?
Right. They sweep it under the rug like
Cop,
the
don't
Catholic Church
gypsy.
sweeps the priest under the rugs. You know, that's a good way of looking at it. You know, it's like you move from one force to another, undetected, undeterred, and you know you're free to do what you want. And then you have the whole system which backs them. You know that they're able to lie. Which when those cases went down, and I can't cite them specifically, but there are two or three case law Supreme Court cases where they basically said that a cop can lie. It's legal
Yeah.
for a cop to lie.
Yeah.
That right there needs to be the thing that's scrutinized, I think, above almost all else. You know, you should not be able to lie in that position. You know, if we want honesty and transparency, that has to change. There's
Well,
no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
there's another layer to that, and it's the one that the police always bring up when it comes to whether or not they should be able to lie to get a confession or whatever.
Oh
Um,
yeah, no doubt.
it's the undercover concept and that whole gimmick. It's a gimmick. It's all a big charade. It's not even a real thing because it's based on a house of lies.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So
100.
if you end up with a gullible person in your interrogation, they're going to confess to crap that they never intended to confess to because your entire purpose is to warp their words against you.
Yes.
Sure.
That's another problem, and that's why I have a problem with interrogations as they stand right now. Sasquatch. There was for public safety. I don't know if you've ever had
Yes.
for public
I
safety
had
on your show.
him in misconduct on. Yes,
Yes, that it's a great channel.
it is.
I like his channel because he's trying to expose Clark County, Indiana's police
Yeah,
department for who they are,
CPS,
and
that whole
yeah,
set.
right, and he's on a big case right now. He's trying to help this guy. He was a corrections officer and he did nothing wrong. They're blaming him for letting some inmates out and handing a key to an
Right.
inmate and all this stuff. And in the interrogation, they basically did what you just said, twisted his words and made him feel like he did something wrong when he did nothing wrong. And that's a huge problem. There's been a lot of confessions of suspected people that have been interrogated by police that get false confessions, and it
Oh,
happens way more times than
Are
not.
you familiar with the Mr. Big Sting?
Remind me,
All
Sas.
right. All right. Hold up. All right. A Mr. Big Sting is a method by which police in Canada utilize undercover cops, confidential informants to hire gang members to later call gang members and arrest. They give them jobs to go rob places that are also in on the sting and get them more culpable so that these people turn CI, confidential informants.
Oh, no doubt,
And
no
it goes
doubt,
further
man.
than that. They will completely set up an entirely fictional prostitution ring with fictional prostitutes with some real prostitutes mixed in.
Yeah.
You get a guy for pimping.
Well, I have a real problem with ununiformed officers, and I also have a really big problem with unmarked vehicles. I
I
don't
hate
think.
unmarked, but I really hate smoke vehicles, smoke marked vehicles. You
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
those? That's retarded. If you're going to be unmarked, be fucking unmarked. Don't be hiding in plain sight.
I totally wholeheartedly disagree with unmarked vehicles because the point of police was to help at first. Now, I mean, the Supreme Court ruled that they're no longer, concerned
That
with
was
safety.
statutory. That's a little different, brother.
You know,
Previous
no,
to 1955 or so, we didn't really have police as we have them today. We had
right,
stabulatories and we had sheriffs.
right, right.
Different. Both of
But
those are police
right,
enforced policy. It's in the name.
right. My problem with unmarked vehicles is, what if you have a kid that's in distress? And they're always taught to look for police cars and police officers if they're in trouble, right? Well, if that unmarked car goes by, I know it's a kind of a far-fetched scenario, but it's still, you know, you just have to imagine it, right? A kid that's being chased by somebody or something of that nature, and the kid is looking around for reprieve, for help. How is he supposed to know that this unmarked car that just went by is a police officer? You see what I'm saying? I
All right,
think
Greg. Thank you for
always be noticed, right? For a plethora of reasons. I mean, one out of, like, so people know that the police are around, and two, you know who to go to. It's ridiculous.
You're up.
So
Thank you for coming by, Graham. I appreciate it.
All right, cheers. Sorry about that. I've got to shoot off. I shall speak to you again soon, and enjoy your break.
Much love, brother.
Peace out. Bye. Thanks
Bye.
everybody else.
see you later, man.
Yeah, you bring up some good issues. Talking about sheriff's office, I put it in the chat there. Have you seen the Civil Rights Lawyer channel? West Virginia cops. He's out of West Virginia.
Right.
You see him, you know him. But good guy. Kind of cases. Talking about one case. I'm not sure what it's all about, usually, but for some reason, the cops, sheriff's department, shows up, plain clothes, no badges, no warrant, knocks an air conditioner out of the window to climb through the window, start rifling through the place, disabling his cameras. They had hidden one, they missed. Caught him on film, searching for something, tear the place apart, leave. He submits his film to the lawyer, lawyer reviews the stuff, sends to the FBI. and instead of investigating for criminal charges, the FBI agent calls the sheriff's office to let them know they're on film. They've been caught.
Yeah, heaven forbid they'd be caught doing something nefarious on film. They want to get away with it. Can't have that. Can't have somebody, holding them accountable. That's, that's too much. It's
Who
too much
was
to
the
take in.
guy? I think he was in Aurora. Who was the guy that swore up and down that the police were trying to kill him and ended up dying in some really weird way? Like, he has all kinds of footage of what were supposedly cops. It was a very early gang stalking channel. He swore that the cops were hunting him down, going into his house, and he has, like, can't remember the guy's name, Robert something.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about,
Dude,
Sasquatch.
crazy. They were like flying over his house and stuff, and he was uploading videos of this crap like every week, and then he died.
Yeah.
After posting a video saying, if I die over this weekend, it was the cops that killed me. He dies.
There's lots of stuff like that.
Now, are you familiar with the gang stalking community on YouTube?
I am not Sasquatch.
Hey, no, don't go public with this one because they'll all look at you crazy, and then you'll get stalked by the same people.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna. Yeah.
There is this interesting overlap of statistics I came across a few years ago. When the CIA was forced to reveal things that they've been doing over the past 30 or 40 years due to Freedom of Information Act declassification,
Right.
came to light that the CIA utilizes domestic citizens for training of units. They train agents by having them come and dig everything about you out of the woodwork, and then some, reporting to the CIA, hey, this is what I found.
So basically, ruin people's lives.
Possibly. But here's the thing. They're not supposed to get noticed. You're never supposed to notice these people. But
Yeah.
if you go and look at how many people are claiming to be gang stalked, there's about 10,000 and some change. The CIA did 8,000 and some change, and regularly up until like the mid 80s were regularly what do they call surveilling citizens as training operations for CIA, NSA, FBI, these types.
That was a huge case that went to Congress, if I recall, and it's true.
So here's the thing: when you come across these crazy people on these gang stalking platforms, you
Yeah.
have to remember about 20% of them are nuts. The rest of them may actually be being followed around.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're out to get you.
Exactly.
Right. That video that you showed right before was Sasquatch. I think it's that one that you're showing
Same
there.
video.
Yeah, that one was crazy because that was after we got assaulted, right? By those those two thugs. Actually, I should say one thug because it was one guy that but the other guy was just as crazy. But there was a video that we did right after. I think it's this one where it was right before this where we went down the road and we saw another Denver cop pulled over, and of course we pull over to film, and KDOT's on one side of the road and I'm on the other, and the KDOT asked for, and he didn't, KDOT is one to speak his mind, right?
Sure.
But in this instance, he was actually very polite. He asked for a card. May I have your business card? Right? So he's like, sure, after I get done with this, right? So the officer gets done, and for some reason he gets all huffy and pissed off, and he grabs his card like it's a big inconvenience, and he actually throws the card at KDOT. And that video pissed me off more than us getting pushed around physically, because I'm like, that is blatant disrespect, and that clearly shows the disrespect that police officers have for the general public, and it's a big problem. And it may seem like something very minor, but if you can't simply hand somebody a business card and give them your name and badge number according to your policy, then what hope is there for anybody else without a camera? You know what I mean?
You remember when we were kids, we all got put on the bus to go to kindergarten, and you got to kindergarten and you're standing in line, and that kid behind you started poking you in the back and fucking with you and playing with your hair and bullying on you. You went
Right.
home, told your mama or your daddy or your guardian, was like, I don't like these. I don't want to go back. I can't do it. And they told you what?
To
You're
punch
just,
him right in the mouth, you know,
like, just
push
going to have
back.
to go along with them until y'all work it out.
Right.
You have
Right.
no choice. You have to work with them. They are in your class. You
Right.
must get along somehow, whatever you got to do.
Right.
If it involves popping them in the chops, then fine, but work with them. Okay.
Right.
This is what cops don't do. You learned it in kindergarten. They do not work with people they don't want to work with. If you show
Right.
up and you need help and they don't want to do it, they will just drive the frick away.
Right.
And it
Yeah.
falls with their discretion, and it is a freaking nasty part of the business.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is, Sasquatch. I mean, there's really, like Regan Benson put it best the other day. Like she can't use violence because violence would end her in a prison cell.
Yep.
So the only thing that we have is our cameras and our mouths, and that's all we can do.
If you press charges, and if you defeat the case against you is dismissed, then you can file a civil rights lawsuit.
That's right. That's right.
True.
But
Maybe you'll get comfortable. That's if the judge is corrupt and they decide to go on with the charges.
right.
You'll hold no real trouble.
That also involves a lot of money, and that's a dilemma that each and every one of us has to grapple with when we're out there, right? Like I'm a very small channel. Like I think I'm 5 away from 3,000 subs. I don't make any money on YouTube. Hardly any of us do. There are people that do make money on YouTube, and good for them. They can afford the myriad of loss. I mean, since I started my channel, I can think of, I mean, there are countless times when I could have filed complaints and got a lawsuit going and probably have won, but it would have cost me a lot of money in doing so, and it's one of those things, like you want to do it every time, but you have to pick and choose, especially.
You must pick your battles.
Yep, you have to pick your battles when you're, I've got a couple going on right now that I mean, this one where we got shoved, I think we're probably going to file on that one because it's, you can't just put your hands on somebody and think that you're going to, get away with it. And they do all the time. And the only way to have them stop doing that is to keep, complaining and putting complaint after complaint in these people's files until, something gives. And it's really hard, because a lot of those complaints get thrown in the trash,
Like your file. I've seen many cops when they let anybody file complaints. Very stuff you put a complaint there, supposedly 6 months, a year later. Well, we got no record of anything.
Right. No, that's right. That's right.
I want to complain about somebody. Who do I complain to? You see that cop over there?
Yeah, go tell him. They send you elsewhere.
Yeah, he's the one you got to talk to.
That's another inherent problem with policing nowadays is the complaint process. Now, there's each agency. I mean, it's not uniform, which is a huge issue, right? And if you don't have internet, you're pretty much fucked.
Yep.
Because if you go to a police department and you ask for a complaint form, most likely, I mean, depending on where you're at, you're not going to get one. You're going to be told, well, we need to get a sergeant to talk to you. Right. It's like I don't need that intimidation, right? I mean, I can handle it. A lot of the other cop watchers can handle it, but what about somebody that literally legit needs to file a complaint against a police officer, and maybe even that sergeant that they're told that they need to talk to? I mean, it's pure intimidation, and that type of stuff needs to there needs to be a uniform way on paper with a paper trail to follow up on complaints with police officers. and consent decrees don't work. They're basically pacifiers for the community. You know, there's
What
lots of
was
stuff.
that madness y'all walked into the other day at the council meeting?
Oh, that was a town hall meeting.
Christ, what
Okay.
kind of fucking 2-year-old bullshit was that?
Okay. Let me explain that one, Sasquatch, and then I got to get ready because I got a show that to do myself, which I'll probably ask you if I can plug a little bit later. But basically, KDOT and I were at a town hall about a consent decree, right? And what a consent decree is basically an independent monitor comes in and they try to make changes within the police department because stuff is messed up, right? Whether it's use of force, whether it's a variety of things like that. One of the things on the docket was the use of ketamine because that's how Elijah McClain got killed. Was
Well,
the
hold on. Who
Yeah.
gave him the ketamine?
The EMTs at the scene. Elijah McClain is the reason why KDOT is as adamant, and he became an activist.
You know, we
And
talked backstage about it when I hosted him. He explained a little bit of it, but I don't remember him mentioning ketamine.
yeah. So
I think he
he
did say
basically was killed by ketamine. It's way more detailed and nuanced than that, Sasquatch, but we could be here all night talking about Elijah McClain
I'm not
and
busy.
the Aurora PD. But to make a long story short, this consent decree is supposed to clean up a lot of the bullshit within the Aurora PD. They got a quote independent monitor, which KDOT and I dealt with about 2 months ago. You know, we had hope. We're like, okay, well, hopefully this independent monitor will come in and make change, you know? So, uh, we were hopeful, but then we brought to his attention the video that we did, where the officers were, shining their spotlight on our faces, which is against their policy and against, Colorado law. And he was like, okay, well, let's see where this goes, right? Well, KDOT had tried to follow up with him and emailed him and text him, to kind of let him in on what was going on. And you saw in the video, the guy just flat out denied it. So, and I knew this guy was full of shit when we were talking to him. So, I mean, I called a spade a spade. KDOT was like, well, let's give him a chance. And I'm like, okay, you're right. We gotta at least give people a chance before we can just uniformly, say that he's a piece of shit or whatever. But my bullshit meter is always up, Sasquatch. And after years of experience with this bullshit, I knew he was full of shit. So my intuition was right, and so basically what we did at that meeting was expose him for the liar that he is, and then right after that, KDOT saw that the police chief was there, so he wanted to go have a conversation with the police chief, and the police chief, before KDOT even had a chance to ask him a question or talk to him, said, "I don't want to have a conversation with you." And then things escalated from there. He's like, well, the fuck, you aren't going to have a conversation with me. You're a public servant, and whatever KDOT was saying, I was 100% behind, and so he started in, and then you can clearly hear the police chief threaten KDOT on my camera. I mean, he said, you're going to get yourself killed to KDOT. And he whispered it so that he thought that only KDOT could hear it. I happened to catch it. So that's a huge issue. That's a huge problem. You're sitting here at a consent decree town hall meeting, supposedly changing things, and you're threatening a United States citizen on camera in the community. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
And
if that doesn't prove,
what year
oh,
did the mafia take over the police in Colorado?
what's that?
I repeat my question. What year did the mafia take over the police in Colorado?
That's exactly right, Sasquatch. I mean, it really does play out like mob rules, right? I mean, it plays out like that. They have the numbers, they have the backing of the Supreme Court, and they have the backing of a bunch of corrupt politicians. So nothing ever changes. And that's what KDOT and I are trying to make a very small but notable dent in the system.
Quick up point I mentioned. I totally agree with what you're saying. Constitutional convention. The U.S. is one state house away, and there's a red wave coming. The popular police are coming to start working on this, extending the civil rights, clarifying rights from the cops to be there, that what the cops can and can't do, what rights we have, and qualified immunity be a big one. Especially,
Yeah, in Colorado, there's no more qualified immunity for cops, which is a good thing. But it has not as of yet changed their behavior. I actually think we have to go another step ahead of that. I think that, when in society, the way that it's set up right now, there's punishments, right? And that's the quote unquote deterrent for people to do unsavory things. I think the cops should not only have those type of consequences, they should be even worse than the average citizen. So, in other words, if you are caught speeding as a police officer, your fine is, instead of $500 or whatever the fine is in your jurisdiction, it's double that. So if it's 500 for an average citizen, it's $1,000 for a police officer. If you get caught stealing, whatever fines are doubled. If it's jail time plus, money, then that's what it should be. It should be double of anything
Okay,
any normal citizen.
Let's back up. Let's take the top off this from
Yeah.
a different perspective. Let's open a different can of worms.
Sure.
If the cops aren't what police in general aren't what they are today,
Yeah.
what should they be?
Well, that's that's a long philosophical
Have this
discussion,
I-
Sasquatch. I mean, in my view, I've seen different ways of doing things. There's community policing, which I don't think is the end all tell all for
That's just
all
a
of,
different mafia.
right.
That's the family.
It could be, right. I mean, there's some good things about community policing that come to the forefront, but there's also, like you said, some downsides. I mean, there's different way. I mean, like I said, if it was up to me, uh, the training would be completely different, and there would be mental health evaluations at often
Okay.
intervals.
And I get what you're saying about it needing to be changed. Are we talking about armed beat cop officers?
What do you mean? Like, what does that look like in the
And
future?
if we got rid of the entire policing system as it exists currently and could
Right.
have a different system, what
Right.
would that system look like?
I
Are
mean,
we-
ideally, Sasquatch, I mean, no officer would be armed, right? I mean, that would be ideal. I mean, I know that's not practical in a country that,
that's not even remotely pragmatic.
you're right. It's
But
not
I did ask for a pie in the sky answer, and I accept.
I
Right.
can't tell you where Canada versus U.S. might work differently, but this is my own city. Yes, of course, we have the police who are well overworked. So much of that being outlawed to private security. But there's the West End biz, the downtown biz, the Osborne biz, and they have patrol officers go around communities. Basically, it's community policing. Somebody's passed out in a bus shelter, in trouble, has some issues, help need directions somewhere, somebody in trouble, in uniform, polo shirt, slacks, radios, whatnot, but no weapons. Walk in the city, walk in their neighborhood,
That's not a terrible idea.
keeping an eye
Although
on things. And
Right.
there is some sort of trouble they do need the cops, then they'll call them in. But
I
that's just one
think-
concern.
I think England had that model for a long ass time, where their B cops didn't even carry weapons with
well,
them.
they carried weapons, but it wasn't firearms.
Well, not guns. I'm saying. Yeah.
And even now, most officers are not armed most of the time. Usually, once
Who,
you have the RV, but they have to have it secured in the car. They're trained, licensed to have weapons that's kept locked in the boot of the car.
Wasn't there a street gang in like Chicago back in the 70s that took over law enforcement for a while because the cops stopped going to parts of the town? Was it Chicago and Detroit? Vice Lords? Is that it?
I think you're thinking about parts of Los Angeles.
Maybe.
I think that's what you're referring to, Sasquatch.
That
But
was the most successful. I can't remember the actual history, but that was the most successful case of community policing America has ever actually seen.
right.
I know.
And
Well,
most of those people weren't exactly gangbangers.
you know who else tried it, Sasquatch, and they were quickly shut down by the FBI? Was the Black Panthers. You know,
That's true.
they wanted to prove that okay, you want, I mean, everybody's for the Second Amendment, but the minute that a bunch of black men got guns, they got nervous because then they're like, oh well, what's going to happen here? You know, are they, you know, they're already thinking nefarious things, right? But it actually, I mean, in thinking about it, I mean, that was fairly successful too until they all got taken down for various crimes. What's that?
I watched Waco happen live on TV. They
I
showed
don't know if I
that
remember that.
nationally. You could watch it happen live.
Flamethrowers for little children. Oh, that's lovely.
Then they tried to nominate the man grinning in the ashes of a pile of dead women and children to the leader of the ATF.
That's terrible.
How is that not disconnected?
Oh, I know. I agree with you. I can remember from my own use of community outreach, we had Constable Edward Finney, come to those schools, talk to the kids. I'm too young to remember exactly what, but just issues there, getting to know the police, building trust the police. You're in trouble. We're your friends here. Here's a block parent's house sign. It's all that good stuff. That class used to be able to do that. Just to actually be part of the community. That would be a strong one, by the way, of passing the laws. You have to live in the community you're going to represent. It's a very small town within
That would be
so many
serious.
miles of it. You have to live within, say, 20 miles of wherever jurisdiction you're representing to be part of the community. Not living some Chicago, going half hour, an hour out of town to be a sheriff there. You're not representing. You care nothing about the people.
See, that's a great point too. Like that's another point that KDOT tries to make quite a bit. Like a lot of these people don't even live in the district that they supposedly serve. You know, it's like, how can you? And I'm not saying.
Hold on.
I'm not.
You can't live here and be a cop here.
Right.
You have to live somewhere else and come serve here. And the reason is you'd be letting your family and friends go and do whatever the hell they wanted to. So you have to work somewhere else nearby. But everybody's deputized across the board, so I don't see where it makes a difference.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, man. Like it's corrupt. I mean,
on the surface, it's a good idea, but in practice, it breaks down in reality.
Right. That's exactly right.
Probably saying earlier, I got to my point there. There's a good reason why I'm an anarchist. I'm going to say it. I don't mean survival of the fittest type anarchy. I mean everybody living peacefully together. If everybody could be armed. There's no such thing as public property, no public government of any sort. You got to all learn to live along and get along with each other. Period.
Well, the problem with that is you will learn to get along the way I want you to. If might makes right, you will live by my rules.
If you make yourself unpopular, nobody's going to want you. Yeah.
No, you simply have to fear me. You do not have to like me. You don't have to agree with me. If might makes right, you simply have to fear me. And if you don't, you have to die.
Right.
Might makes right.
Might makes right is probably one of the most destructive things in all of history.
Agreed.
Like, just look at it. Just look at it. I mean, all the way from the Romans all the way up until now, man.
And centralized authority. You have power, it corrupts people.
Sure.
Right.
I would rather have it than leave it to you.
Even if you yourself are wanting power. So, well, I believe that Sasquatch's not going to be corrupted by the power. Let's just say that's true. Okay. Yeah. But people who are corruptible want the power he has. They want to get rid of him. So,
okay, y'all are welcome to try.
What will you do?
That's where the line is.
The question becomes, Watch, what will you do to keep power?
Murder all of you.
Keep these guys out of power. Will you become what they are? You got to become as bad as
I'm going to be way worse. You don't understand.
What's the benefit of having you there? None.
No, I never said it would benefit you. That's not the agreement. You said everybody has to learn to get along. I said if it comes to that and there's no other power structure in place, you will get along by my rules because I say
There's no power structure.
Right, right.
amount of guns that will go along
Voluntary.
with you because we all
Voluntary associations.
Yeah, Sasquatch wants to be king, confirmed.
How you want to? You're one person.
not yet.
You
No,
want to have
I'm not.
gang?
I'm not just one person.
You
You are
got
wrong
people.
there, brother. You are wrong there. I
You
have,
want to
I
get your
have
friends to
legions
out?
of
Okay,
people willing to pick up a gun and
Maybe.
follow along.
sure. Well, I'm
If we get to that point,
they had to be choosing for somebody else too. They don't like you. They can vote for somebody else.
Hey, Sasquatch, before
just
I
let
leave,
go
before I
plug-
leave, can I?
go for it.
I gotta take off, Sasquatch, but can I plug something before
Yeah,
I take off? In about an hour, I don't mean to take away from your show, Sasquatch, but in about an hour, I'll be producing the Mustachioed show, which Mustachioed will be interviewing Police to Police 719.
Right.
So,
Oh, that's gonna be cool. I'm definitely gonna check that one out.
yeah, if don't leave Sasquatch's stream until he's done.
We're fixing to shut this down here in a few minutes. Anyway, I've actually gone over because we were doing so well. I was actually enjoying this.
It's a nice conversation to have, Sasquatch, for sure. But I mean, we could talk for hours about this stuff, man.
You
Yeah.
haven't scheduled that stream yet, have you?
What's that?
You haven't scheduled that stream yet, have you?
Which one?
The mustachioed stream.
Oh, I don't schedule like you do. I mean, you do all that fancy stuff, Sasquatch.
Fancy
But,
nothing. I just wanted to share it in chat and then share it on my community tab. It's so much easier than trying to
I know, man. I don't know how to do any of. I mean, I'm technically not great at this YouTube thing, man. I fully admit it, man. I don't know all the ins and outs and stuff. But yeah, so I'll be no problem. 6 Eastern. So it's about roughly 45 minutes from now, an hour.
Right.
I'll be interviewing the great Police to Police 719.
I'd love to cover his channel. That'd be cool.
Yeah, check it out. Okay. Later,
All right,
everybody. Have
Later.
a good day.
Good night.
All right, Boa, tell me something. You have anything you want to tell everybody? You got about 3 minutes.
Okay, I won't be long. One of the most effective forces for controlling the gang activity in Winnipeg is the Hells Angels. Yes, I know they're gang themselves. They're trouble. Keep a lot of smaller gangs out of their streets safe because guess what? Like you, middle-aged family member, got my own family members, got kids. They want them to go to school, go to a park, go swimming, play, want to be safe. They have no interest or tolerance for drug activity, violence, all this gunplay on the street. They may have their own issues, but they'll take out to the field somewhere, take to a barn, rural area out of town, and have their shootouts. They're going to have that kind of thing. Not nice it's your farm, but whatever. And I don't say they're good people. They're not. But the idea is that, okay, they're armed citizens keeping peace, keeping it quiet, keeping the streets safe. You get rid of all of them. Okay, the big roundup 20 years ago. Oh, the big show trial. They're trying to get them all in jail. Okay, you done that. What do we have now? Explosion of street crime, streets, drug use. Already, crowds can't respond to half the freaking shoplifting.
Where are you from, bro?
To stand down. Winnipeg, myself.
Winnipeg. Okay, that's what I thought I heard. All right, let me ask you this: when there is a police incident that takes place and goes tearing through the middle of town, do people just get out of the way of it in Winnipeg?
I can't say I've known of anything.
You've never actually witnessed anything like that?
Never heard of it.
Let me tell you what happened here.
A chopper.
A couple of years ago, we had this dude go a little bit batty, and he kind of ran a merry chase back and forth across town over here for like a couple of hours. So I live right in the middle of town, right next to the police department. So it was just craziness for like 4 hours. These people are running around going nuts, right? They finally spook him out of wherever he was hiding. And when he ran away on his little four-wheeler or whatever it was he was running on, the response that the public had at this point was ridiculous. He tried to hop over a curb on his four-wheeler and cut across a parking lot. And a guy that was riding through the parking lot just T-boned his ass. Just plastered that sumbitch all over the side of the freaking building. They're done with it. He was an old dude. He saw him coming and he swerved into him and ended the chase right there. Broke both the kids' legs.
If the police
Now, hold
they said
on.
they don't have
Turns out this kid had killed 2 people. So, I mean, the old man didn't know that, but he'd been running for 4 hours and it was time to end it. He just smacked him. Right? Wrong? I don't know. He's the guy with the F-150.
Yeah.
I don't know if other people in other places do stuff like that.
Yeah, this some brings up a point there. Cops saying they don't have to protect anybody. Their job is to investigate if they want to, and maybe try and find the person that killed you after the fact. There's charges with them. It's case there, they end up in jail. That's nice. What does that do for you? Not much. You're dead.
Police, if you look into their charters, largely police are defenders of property, not defenders of people. They're not here really to protect your rights. They're here to protect the property that is sellable so that the government can maintain its monopoly on monetization of the world.
And as far as dealing with the crime, I don't know, the budget issues or whatever. Oh, God. You bring in the issue I hear about 911 calls. Cops are in the U.S. They're not responding to anymore because they don't have the fuel. Can't afford the fuel. The cars
Right.
out. So how many of this stuff is falling to private security guards to do this stuff? And
Okay, well, if you privatize the police force, you have simply exchanged one master for another.
Pretty much.
Because they'll write the policies, and a privatized police force will not enforce laws at all. They will simply enforce policy because that is what they will be hired to do.
Yeah. You want to keep your property safe? Sure. You can authorize your security guards.
It'd really suck if something happened.
They protect the property. Okay. Or you're paying the minimum to this bleeder. And basically, the guy comes in, got his stuff, and runs out the door. And what do? Watch him. Because that's all I'm allowed to do. Watch him steal.
All right, brother. That's pretty much the end of the show. I'm gonna deuce this out. The link's still in chat. If anybody wants to pop backstage and have a word, I'll be here for about 15 minutes. I am gonna grab a cup of coffee and then come back. So I'm not gonna be live anymore, but we will be backstage chatting. Because I got a question for Boa.
I'm here.
Thanks for coming by, and I appreciate every single one of you like a brother and a sister. Peace.